Today, Conor Murray has been announced as a new ambassador for Down Syndrome Ireland, and I'm delighted to say that he is with us now. How are you doing, Conor?
I'm very good, yeah. Thanks for having me.
So talk to us a little bit about your new role with Down Syndrome Ireland. I think it's fair to say that you've been well aware of the brilliant work they've done for quite some time now.
Yeah, I suppose just it's coming on board officially now, but I think there's definitely been a link with Down Syndrome Ireland for years. I suppose starting off with my dad through his involvement with the Tour de Munster cycle, and with them being involved with Down Syndrome Ireland for years. Having spent time with a lot of those events, meeting loads of the kids and adults with Down syndrome, and it's definitely something that's close to my heart. And I suppose coming on board officially, being able to promote this 21-day challenge, it just felt right, and hopefully I can do something that helps the charity. I know charities are struggling throughout COVID and all these lockdowns and stuff. So I know people will be asked to do all sorts of challenges over this lockdown number 2. So all you can do is say your piece and show what it means to you to be part of something like this, and hopefully people get on board.
How did your dad get involved in the first place?
He would have been involved in cycling and triathlons and things like that. So involved with the Tour de Munster from the start, and with them having a long tradition and relationship with Down Syndrome Ireland, would have spent a lot of time with them too. And again, like I said, having been at those events with him as a child, and then growing up through it and meeting these people and seeing the work they do, it's just a natural fit.
Absolutely. It's an amazing thing as well, especially given the way you've been there all along with your father at these sort of things. And like, I think I saw yourself and your father together in a television ad there a few years ago. That bond is obviously quite close, and he's inspiring you to do things off the rugby pitch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can get caught up in the rugby things an awful lot, and it takes over your headspace a lot. And I suppose having people like my dad and my family, my mom and sisters there to steer you down the road of doing good things, and sometimes you forget what influence you can have off the pitch. So I've had good people around me, thankfully, throughout my career, and this is just another step in that direction. And again, it's something that's natural. It's not as if some things you might promote, you don't want to do things for the sake of it. This is something that fits properly and you feel quite strongly about. So again, it's, like I said, an easy one to choose.
It's a really interesting point that you make about how it can be hard to focus on the non-rugby things so often, because if you want to be a high achiever, I presume that you've got to have a little bit of tunnel vision half the time, and actually being taken away from that and forcing yourself to remove yourself from that, I presume, could be a difficult thing.
It is, yeah. Like you said, the tunnel vision with the games, training, preparing, all that stuff takes up the majority of your time. So having people that allow you to get out of that headspace and do something productive is obviously good for yourself. To be able to get out of that rugby, that mindset from time to time, because whether it's going good or bad, it's probably good to step out of it and remind yourself that it's just rugby at the end. It is a game at the end of the day, and there's an awful lot more important things going on around the world. So being able to step out of that is really good, and I think it's necessary to maintain a kind of healthy mind, and if you can do it in a good way or a productive way, or help organizations like this out, then even better.
When you say that your father and your family are really good at helping you to do that, would you pick up the phone to them after a game, for example, and chat through it, or do you have those sort of conversations with them at all?
Not straight after the game. I think you need a day or two to kind of digest it. Again, depends on a win or loss. I think, yeah, when it goes well, it's hopefully, usually they're there in the stadium, and you can head up after games and spend time with them. Obviously, it's a little bit different now, so you have to wait a couple of days, and we're kind of in a bubble at the moment, so the only way to chat to them is over the phone, unfortunately. Again, like many people in the country, it's the only way to communicate with people at the moment. So I think having them there as a sounding board to go through how you're feeling, whether it's a great win or it's a tough loss, I think having family and people around is very important.
One of the things that struck me as well about being involved from your perspective with a great organization like Down Syndrome Ireland is that there is a sense of positivity with it, which is unchallenged and kind of it is truly positive. Whereas I presume again in a rugby environment there is a necessary challenging of everybody's standards. There is sometimes negativity associated with being a rugby player for Munster and for Ireland, and the necessary headspace that you need to get yourself into is a little bit different to what you can do with your work with Down Syndrome Ireland, I presume.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's really. It can be tough, like you said, with the pressure, and sometimes, most of the time, it's a very good job, and it's really really enjoyable. But with it comes negativity and comes some stress. So having that outlet or whatever, and seeing people in the organization, whether it be children with Down syndrome or just the volunteers, just their positivity and the way they see the world, they see it for what it is. Sometimes you get it, like you said, the tunnel vision, getting caught up in what you are doing can seem like the most important thing in the world at the time, and then which it's a good way to be as well. It motivates you to do the best, but it's nice to be able to see it from another point of view and not get too kind of cordoned off in your own little world.
On that positivity, would you say that you're generally a positive person?
Yeah, thankfully, I will be. Around rugby, we're very lucky to be doing what we do, especially now. I think we're really privileged to be able to go to work, to go to camp, to play games. And that's part of our job. But it's a very lucky position to be in. Now we want to win and things like that. So last week was great. We were privileged to be able to go out. We won against Italy, and it was all great. And this week, it was all great until the game. And with that loss, it takes a little bit out of you, but you have to remain kind of your view needs to be well rounded. It's a game of rugby. We lost it for a number of reasons. You need to take it on board, learn from it, and move on. I think earlier in my career you would have dwelled over it for a lot longer, but now I think you can learn from it a lot better. You're more experienced. You can learn from it quicker, and you can move on, and as long as you feel like you're doing everything you can, then that's a reason to feel positive. If you were cheating yourself and not trying your hardest, then there would be questions in your head about what you're trying to do. But if you've given it your all, it's probably cliche, but if you've given it your all and you prepared as best you can, then it's hard to feel down for too long. The loss hurts. It hurts massively, because we could have a trophy today if we had played potentially a small bit better, a few small areas that we could have got better at. But you just go again, I think.
At what point does your personal thought process start to go into full throttle after a game like that on Saturday? Have you considered it yet? Is it taking a step away from it for a couple of days and then getting into it in a little while?
Yeah, like I came. We're Monday now. We came home yesterday. Arrived home back to Limerick at around 5 o'clock. Obviously, on the way home, you're thinking about the game. I hadn't watched it. I just chilled out yesterday. We dinner, watched a movie with my girlfriend Joanna, and we just chilled out. We even didn't talk about rugby, just talk about everything else. And then this morning you wake up a little, because it's further away. It's you've had time to process it. So sat down this morning and watched the game back on my laptop, and did my own review, kind of see where we went wrong, what could have been better, and that's locked away, and we'll chat about it now when we get up to camp and deal with it. It's fine margins in sport, so when you win or lose, it's always by fine margins, so that we're not that far away. But yeah, we're disappointed with the way we performed, but we know within our group, within our bubble, that we can be an awful lot better. So that's what's exciting. It wasn't as if we played to our full potential last week. We just played under par, and we deserved to lose because we didn't play that well.
How harsh can you be on yourself when you're doing those notes, as you mentioned there?
Very, very hard. I think you have to be your own worst critic at times. I think you're looking back in the video, you only know truly yourself if you're working as hard as you possibly can, or you could have worked harder in areas, and you just give yourself a true reflection of how you saw yourself playing in the game. And there was good parts, there was parts that could have been better too. So I think if you're someone who kind of brushes over those mistakes, or you don't see those opportunities where you could have done better, then you won't be don't be in the game too long. You have to be like that and try and get better.
Conor, we are out of time. Just a reminder for anybody watching and listening that Conor Murray has today been announced as a new ambassador for Down Syndrome Ireland. And just a reminder as well, Conor, today is the launch of the 21-day fundraising challenge in aid of the charity. Just a quick mention, what is that?
So it's a 21-day challenge where we're just encouraging people to get out consecutively over 21 days and hopefully try and accumulate 100 kilometers in exercise, whatever type of exercise you want: run, walk, wheelchair, jog, cycle, swim, whatever people can do. And you sign up for it through downsyndrome.ie, and it's in aid of an unbelievable cause, an unbelievable organization. And I think it's a double-sided thing where people are getting out and about and they're exercising, and it's good for them, and in turn it helps the organization of Down Syndrome massively, because they're in big need of it.
Great stuff. Conor Murray, appreciate your time. Thanks a million.